that I see, and I try and stay in front of them. Sometimes people get on your hip or your shoulder and stay there and kind of push you, and that's what happened to me the week I ran my PB. I've been steadily improving a few runs before that because I'd done all this running while parkrun was suspended, and then this fellow came up behind me, and I could hear him behind me, hear his footsteps like you can in your mind now, and hear his breathing, and I thought he was going to pass me, but just seemed to sit behind me, just behind my hip, and I kept, I'm not sure what caused it all, but I kept on just trying to stay in front of him, which I did, and first I ran the PB, and I was very grateful for his encouragement and interest in getting me there. There's one person who regularly runs who's, I think she's in the 40 to 45 age group, and I'm in the 65 to 70 age group, and I try to keep her in sight as using her as a pacer. One week I finished 11 seconds after, which I was pretty happy about. Next week I thought I was doing even better, and I think she was actually trying to help me along a bit. We were going okay till we got to the turnaround point, and then came back in along the 3k, towards the 3k section and beyond. I just didn't have the legs to go with her, and she put on a bit of a push, and instead of finishing closer to her, I was actually 17 seconds after her. I'm sure there are people who are much better, much more experienced runners than me, and they know the strategies. I know in my head that the race is won at the end, not the beginning, but I want to get a good start, I guess, like everybody does, and I also like to, I think at the moment my fastest time for 1 kilometre is 4:41, and I'd like to try and improve on that, so I find I go out really hard for that, and then I sort of feel like when I've achieved that, and either consciously or subconsciously I slow down a bit. I said earlier about goals along the track, and when I started setting out these goals for myself, one of them was to pass under that second bridge, the one on Victoria Road, before the first guy was on his way back, and I achieved that. So, and now I set myself the idea of getting to the 2k marker, which is a bit further beyond, obviously, before he passed me on the way back. Right. And of course, sometimes I achieve that, sometimes I go close to it, and sometimes I'm 10, 20 or so metres away from it. The guy, that guy I'm using for a marker, I think he's in the 20 to 25 age group, and I said his best finishing time is 16 and a bit minutes. I figure if I get to the 2k marker before he passes me, I'm doing all right. Just to orient yourself, you're local at the top of Bradley Street, where it becomes Nicholson Street, and apologies for all the sniffling and so on. And what this laneway here is called, but it's off of Prill Street, and you just see it behind the white car there. Straight ahead you can see the new hospital on the left hand side there, and the old hospital on the right hand side. New hospital is due to open sometime in the middle of next year. No one seems to really know what's going to happen to the old buildings. Some of them are heritage listed, so I guess they'll have to stay there. Just if you're interested, they're just past 10k's. We've probably got another 3/4 of a k, or maybe a k to home. Seeing lots of people in Goulburn with masks at the moment. Goulburn is, I think, as far as COVID goes, there's COVID testing, but to my knowledge there are no active COVID cases in New South Wales, in the Goulburn, and I think this latest outbreak in Sydney has led to lockdowns and so on. People are just being cautious. I recognise this as being where we were at the start of earlier. So my right hand side is the back of Goulburn High School, the left hand side the Children's Maternity Water Hospital. And straight ahead across Clifford Street, the Victoria Park. School's on holiday Schools are on holidays at the moment. Kids are all locked in, at least in Sydney. All these cars along here are people who work at the hospital and workers on the construction of the new hospital site. Other side of Prell Oval on my left. Ahead you can see beginning parts of the adventure playground, and up on the right there, the steel structure is the new aquatic centre, which is obviously under construction with a plan that should all be finished by February of next year. We're all keeping our fingers crossed. There'll be wading pools, an indoor warm water pool, have hydrotherapy and other water play spaces, I think. And I think there's a plan for a gym and a cafe. Over to my left, bunch of cars there, people coming in for COVID testing at obviously the COVID testing station there. It's been there for a good few weeks. It has a trickle of people almost every day. Doesn't look like the staff are there yet. I guess that's why they're all just waiting. So almost back to where we started, back to my home, and the distance is, I'm not waiting like a reality show. I'm hoping it'll tick over to 11 k's, but it's going to be 10.95, and the time 1 hour and 7 minutes. As I said, I'll put just the graphs and charts and things at the end of the video for you to compare things.